My son said, "Dad, we need your nest egg for the down payment." I transferred every dollar. The day the house closed, I liquidated the rest. They came home to a life left empty. Family story. I still hear the way his voice cracked when he said it. We were sitting at my kitchen table in the little ranch house I had paid off 23 years earlier. The same table where his mother used to pack his lunch for school. Tyler sat across from me with his wife Lauren beside him, both of them looking at the floor more than at me. Their twin boys, Mason and Cole, were out in the backyard throwing a football against the fence like they always did when the grown-ups needed to talk. Tyler cleared his throat and finally looked up. "Dad, we need your nest egg for the down payment." He said it plain, no sugar on it. The house they wanted was in the same school district, 3 bedrooms, a yard big enough for the boys, and an HOA that kept the grass cut and the mailboxes matching. The sellers had already accepted their offer contingent on financing. The bank wanted 20% down or the rate jumped so high they could not swing the monthly note. Lauren's job at the clinic had cut her hours. Tyler's overtime at the plant had dried up after the last round of layoffs. They had scraped together what they could and still came up $47,000 short. I had the money. It was not a fortune. After the plant closed for good and the early retirement package, after the small pension and the careful years of not touching the principal, I had just over that amount sitting in a money market account that paid almost nothing but felt safe. It was the last real cushion between me and whatever came next. I had planned to leave it alone until the day I could no longer drive or mow my own lawn. Then I looked at my son's face and the way Lauren's hands twisted in her lap, and I heard the boys laughing outside, and something in me just folded. I said I would do it. Tyler's eyes filled up and he stood so fast the chair scraped the linoleum. He hugged me hard, the way he used to when he was little and still thought I could fix anything. Lauren cried quietly against my shoulder and kept saying, thank you, we will take care of you, you can live with us, the boys need their grandpa close." I believed them. I wanted to believe them. That night I logged into the account and initiated the wire. The bank held it 1 business day for verification. By Wednesday the money was gone from my side and sitting in their escrow account. I felt lighter and heavier at the same time. The weeks that followed were a blur of inspections and final walkthroughs. I helped them move boxes out of the tiny rental they had been in. I watched the boys race through the empty rooms of the new place choosing bedrooms. Lauren talked about painting the kitchen a soft green. Tyler measured for a workbench in the garage. Every time someone mentioned the future they included me in it. There was a spare room with a window that looked out on the same street I had grown up near. They said it would be mine. I started packing a few things at my place, just the clothes and the photo albums, leaving the furniture for later. Closing day was a Thursday in late October. The leaves on the maple in my front yard had turned the color of rust. I woke early, made coffee, and sat at the table staring at the envelope that held the last of my important papers. Something had shifted in me overnight. Maybe it was the way Tyler had stopped answering my calls the previous 3 days, always texting that they were slammed with last-minute stuff. Maybe it was the quiet conversation I overheard when I dropped off a casserole the night before, Lauren's voice low and tight saying they could not have a 70-year-old man underfoot once the babies started coming, that the spare room would make a perfect nursery. Tyler had answered that they would figure it out later, after the move. I had stood on the porch with the dish still warm in my hands and felt the ground tilt. I did not confront them. I drove to the title company at the appointed time, signed where they told me to sign as a gift letter provider, watched them receive the keys, and smiled when the boys hugged my legs. Then I went home, sat down at my laptop, and listed everything. The house went first. A cash buyer who flipped properties in the neighborhood had left a card in my mailbox months earlier. I called him. He came over that afternoon with a contractor and walked through in under 20 minutes. We settled on a number that was less than market but immediate. He would take it as is, furniture included if I wanted, closing in 10 days with a short rent back so I could clear out. I signed the purchase agreement on the hood of his truck while the ink was still wet from the house. Closing earlier. Then I called the man who bought old cars and told him the Buick and the little riding mower were available that day. He showed up with a trailer before dark. I sold the tools in the garage to a neighbor who had always admired the set. The living room set, the bedroom furniture, the dining table where Tyler had asked for the money, all of it went to a local auction house that would pick up the next morning. I kept one suitcase, the photo albums, a winter coat, and the clothes that fit in the bag. Everything else had a price and a buyer. By Friday afternoon the house was hollow. The walls still held the faint smell of the polish my late wife used to use, but the rooms echoed. I slept on an air mattress I had bought that morning and woke to the sound of the auction crew loading the last pieces into a truck. The cash from the house sale and the rest of the belongings hit my new account by the following Tuesday. I paid the short rent back fee in advance, left the keys under the mat as agreed, and walked out with the suitcase. I did not leave a note. They came by the old place that Saturday the way they always had, to mow the lawn for me and check if I needed anything from the store. Tyler's truck pulled into the empty driveway. I was already 2 states away by then, sitting in a cheap motel room with the blinds drawn, but a neighbor later told me what happened. Lauren got out first, still smiling, still talking about the new paint colors. The boys ran toward the front door the way they always did. Tyler noticed the missing Buick in the bare porch. He tried the knob. It turned. The door swung open onto nothing but scuffed hardwood and the outline on the wall where the family photos used to hang. The neighbor said Tyler stood in the middle of the living room for a long time without speaking. Lauren called my name once, then again, her voice rising. The boys asked where Grandpa's chair was. No one answered. I do not know how long they stayed. I only know that when they finally left, the house was as empty as I had made it. The life they thought still waited for them there had already been sold, boxed, and driven away. The money I had transferred was gone into the walls and the roof of their new place. The rest of what I owned had turned into a different kind of freedom, one that fit inside a suitcase and a bus ticket. I kept moving. New towns, short-term rentals paid week to week, quiet mornings without anyone asking for more than I had left to give. Sometimes I still hear Tyler's voice at that kitchen table, the way it broke when he asked. I answer it in my head the only way that still feels true. I gave him what he asked for. Then I took the rest and walked out before anyone else could decide what was left of me.